Well, as I said earlier when I came in tonight, another Halloween is in the books. And really, as strange as it sounds, and I'm going to take this off right now, as I usually do after every Halloween, as strange as it sounds, that's kind of how I felt about Halloween the past few years. You know, not that it's a bad thing, but Halloween is just kind of a process, and it's an enjoyable one, but as I've mentioned this before, as I mentioned before, like with Halloween, it's not that there isn't still a spirit to the holiday, but it's almost more about the costume, it's more about the video, it's more about kind of the extracurriculars. Whereas Christmas is obviously king. But Halloween this year did have a special meaning to it because of the Red Sox. And it's really strange how I struggle to think of an idea for this year's costume. October of this year has actually been extraordinarily awesome. Not just because of the Red Sox, but there's been so much going on in my life, so much activity, so much that I haven't even had time to talk about it. Instead, I just talk about the Red Sox because the games have been so engaging. But amidst all that, I was thinking, what can I be for Halloween? Like, what am I going to do for Halloween? Like, why am I even thinking about Halloween at this stage of my life? Like, you know, last few years, and I'm sure I say this every Halloween rant, so it's going to sound even dumber now. Like, last year, I definitely remember I said something to the effect of, I really want to plan Halloween out. Like, you know, I felt like I kind of missed an opportunity to kind of do a big Halloween last year. And the year before that, I probably said the same thing. Like, I really want to be in front of Halloween this year. But every year, it just happens. In September and October, I just fall behind. I don't think about Halloween as much because I'm concentrating on school, or I'm concentrating on my career, or I'm concentrating on just something else. And Christmas obviously supersedes that because, you know, I come up with stuff for Christmas because I give myself a few months. And Halloween just seems like it gets lost in the shuffle year after year since pretty much like 08, 09. I mean, I haven't had like a devoted Halloween probably since then, probably since 07 or so. And it's, again, it's not that that's a good or bad thing, it's just, it is what it is. So that's what made this Halloween decision both a little easier and a little harder. It was like, should I try to be more creative? What can I do that's more creative? Should I go that extra mile to do it? And if I do, why? Now, not to sound like mean, but like, if I went the extra mile and created some new costume based on some character, based on some thing, like, for who else would it be than me? Like, how would it really make anything? You know, it's hard to explain what I'm saying, but Halloween, like any holiday, is like a one-day occurrence. And, you know, back when I was a kid, it was great. You know, I dressed up as Sonic, I dressed up as Spider-Man. And for that one day, I was those characters, and I had a great time. And in the case of some of those costumes, I would recycle them over and over. I used to use the Spider-Man pajamas, Spider-Man costume as pajamas until I was like 11. So, I mean, again, there's just something special to be said for that. And that's why Halloween, sadly, cannot regain the kind of glory it once had. So what made this year a little bit different, at least, is that I had this Red Sox pennant race going on the entire time. So while Halloween season's going on, and I'm going, well, you know, I'm not really in the spirit, I'm not really watching horror movies, I don't really have any ideas for what to be, the idea of what to be was almost right in front of me this whole time. That's what makes it so ironic. Like, the Red Sox have been a team that I've slowly, not so slowly now, but like I've really come to admire this 2013 Red Sox team. And I thought if I was ever going to do something like this would be the year. Because I remember in 2004, faintly, people were saying, oh, be Kurt Schilling with the bloody sock. Or, you know, 07 even, you know, be Papelbon. And just, you know, I've kind of looked up to the Red Sox players. And I've looked up to other athletes. But I'm not them for Halloween. That's why even this year, I wasn't anyone for Halloween. Like, I wasn't Mike Napoli. I wasn't a Red Sox player. I was just kind of a Halloween Red Sox figure. I like to combine things. You might have noticed that. Like, I have certain passions in my life. So it's almost more of an abstract thing at this point in my career. It's not, you know, look at me, I'm Superman. It's, you know, maybe my costume says something more than that. Now, most people don't read into that, and I don't really blame them. Most people just go, nah, he put a mask on a Red Sox jersey, whatever. But to me, it was just kind of cool. It was a cool way to combine the two. This month, October, I guess it will be remembered for just the Red Sox incredible playoff run. The nights I spent in here, and this is going to sound really cheesy, but the nights I spent in here setting up these commentary videos, I mean, I was really into them. I wasn't faking it. You know, I was watching the game anyway, even when the camera wasn't on. And, like, when the camera was on, I was like, okay, guys, second inning. And I've really genuinely enjoyed that. I don't know if I'll ever get that opportunity again. And if I do, obviously, there's no guarantee the Red Sox will win. And just to see that team inspired me. I mean, they inspired me all year, but just seeing what they did even just recently, and just the highs and lows of all of their series, and just how they overcame whatever throughout the season and through the postseason. So for me to not do a Halloween costume that somehow involved the Red Sox would just be dumb, in my opinion. After sitting here trying to think of an idea, it's like, duh, this is right in front of me. Instead of being some cartoon character that means nothing to me anymore, why not be the 2013? Why not represent that kind of pride, that kind of fun? You know, this is a fun costume. This isn't the kind of costume you think a lot about. This is Venom underneath. This has nothing to do with the Red Sox underneath the jersey, the black spider thing. But again, I'm not going to explain that to anybody. Venom's just one of my favorite villains. Because originally I was thinking of being Venom. But again, alright, I'm Venom. What does that mean to most people? Woohoo. Not to demean Halloween. Halloween is still my second favorite holiday. Next year I'll probably go through the same lamenting, oh, what should I be for Halloween? Does it matter? Does it not matter? I don't know. Woo. Now, as I mentioned before, this Phantom mask, it's no coincidence that I brought this back. I could have brought back a series of other things. There was actually another mask I was contemplating putting with the Red Sox jersey because it was a red cloak, kind of. But this mask, to me, kind of took on a meaning of its own. For those of you who watched the original Blockbusted movie, I won't spoil the ending, but this mask, this Phantom guy is kind of like a big villain throughout that film, and he comes back in Blockbusted 2, and, on that whole rant, and even in the beginning of my Halloween video, I mentioned the Phantom Mask is coming back at least one more time, and I'm working on this thing, and I don't want to get off on too much of a tangent, but Blockbusted 3 is going to be coming out. I can finally kind of pinpoint a time it can come out. I don't want to say it for sure, though, but Blockbusted 3 is coming along really well. That's another part of October that kind of went under the radar. So much was going on in October at the same time that certain parts of it flew under the radar. Kind of like the Red Sox flew under people's radar in May and June when they were watching the Bruins or even the Celtics. The Red Sox were just kind of an afterthought. Well, by October, the Red Sox were everything. And, in my personal life, not saying this is everybody, there were other things going on for me. There were some great jobs. I part-time DJ, and I got to DJ at my alumni, my high school, Montville High. I got to DJ there. First time I've been back there since 2006 when I graduated. And while most of the building looks a lot different now, they've renovated, the gymnasium looks remarkably similar. It's pretty much the same gym. Their homecoming dance was set up the same way it was set up when I went there. And I was the DJ. And, I just played their music. I helped make their night. And that was something that was really special to me. And I do a lot of DJ gigs that are special to me. And just so happened in October I had a couple of them. In October I also worked on Blockbusted 3, a good deal. With my friends, just kind of solo. I've been getting to know myself more as an artist, as schmaltzy as that sounds. The movie was kind of a way to do that, and then it kind of turned into sort of something else entirely. So, Blockbusted 3 is unlike anything I've ever done. And that's what made this October so unique, was just the combination of everything. And I even surprised myself with the passion I had for baseball, for movie making, for everything. Just kind of slammed at me so fast that I couldn't even think about it. That might have been the best part of all. So often I try to think about this stuff for so long that I end up putting out something kind of disappointing. I end up thinking about it. What song do I want to listen to? What do I want to watch? What do I want to do? Where do I want to work? And it just kind of drags on and on. But it was like the baseball, playoffs were almost every day. And that kind of put me in a space almost every night that I could sit and just get my energy out and just watch this team. Win or lose, I could let some emotion out. And then the next day I could wake up, go about my business, either work on my art, work on my movies, look for jobs. I could do a number of things. And I wasn't just thinking about it, I was doing it. In October 2013, for every reason I just mentioned and maybe more, will go down in my memory as a really great month. Hopefully a turning point because, well, I'll get into that later, but post-Halloween always gets kind of weird. I go off on a lot of tangents. I talk about Christmas, I talk about Halloween. The Halloween we just had, if you really want to break it down, it was decent. It was a decent Halloween. I went over my nannies, usual stuff happened. Talked to them, talked to Vinny. Got my costume out there, and we had a couple laughs. That's, again, I've said this before, and I don't mean to sound like a downer, but that's what Halloween is right now. Could there be more to it in a couple of years? Maybe. Could there be less to it? Maybe. Every couple of years, maybe there's a surprise. I've seen Halloween spike up and down like the stock market, so Christmas, however, is a pretty reliable commodity. So as soon as maybe tomorrow or the next day, I'm looking into getting Christmas kicked off right. Because, I don't know. That's all I'm going to say. I'm looking forward to Christmas. I'm looking forward to 2014 even. And this year, again, flew under the radar. A lot of stuff that I will be getting to in the months to come. So I've not forgotten about you guys. I've not forgotten about my life and what I stand for and what I used to do more of. I'm going to go back to doing, because right now I'm on a roll and I'm not going to question it. And if any of you are feeling the same way, I hope you go with it too. If you're having any indecisions about anything, any doubts, people kind of making you second guess what you're doing, just don't. Just do it. Just keep going, Obviously, question yourself sometimes, but not insanely. Just keep on going. So on a lighter note, how was everyone's Halloween? I'd love to hear about it. If you want to post in the comments, whatever. I'd love it if you subscribed. I would love a lot of stuff. So I'm not, not trying to push my luck with you guys, but I come off as a lot of different types of personalities, and I'll talk about that in a later rant. But I just wanted to get that all out there. The Red Sox won the World Series. Halloween is complete, and we move on to November. We don't know what's going to happen, and that's the way I like it. I will see you guys later.